We instill in them a pronounced distaste for the native life so that they will be humiliated when reminded of their origin. When they graduate from our institutions, the children have lost everything native except their blood. 1875, Bishop Grandin. Our colonization foundation is crumbling. To build a new foundation, we must first acknowledge our mistakes. We must tear down the original and create a new one by teaching, nurturing, and guiding our children. The elders teach that it takes a whole community to raise a child. We are responsible for helping children understand that our new foundation is built on love, acceptance, and tolerance. Then we have something strong enough to build upon. It was 400 years. In 1524, we revealed ourselves to Giovanni di Verrazzano, a Florentine explorer of North America. We were living on what is now called the Delaware River. In 1924, 400 years later, we American Indians finally became citizens of America. But this was not retroactive. We were not citizens if we were born before 1924. This did not change until the passage of the Nationality Act of 1940, just 80 years ago. My grandfather was born in 1919. His military service card listed him as Indian citizen because he participated in the war. It was 350 years. In 1628, we welcomed the Puritans' first town in Salem, Massachusetts. They told us they called themselves Puritans. They wanted to purify themselves from the Church of England. The Puritans set up a religious colony based on their beliefs and to practice their religious freedom. They described us as wild savages that worshipped many gods, yet they say we were a peaceful people. Isn't it ironic that their agony created the same prejudice that they fled from? In 1978, 350 years later, the American Indian Religious Freedom Act was finally established. This act protected our rights so that we could exercise our traditional religion. In 1978, we finally had access to our sacred sites and objects, and the freedom to worship through traditional ceremonies. Here I am, building our new foundation by helping you acknowledge the land of my people, the Nanticoke Lenni-Lenape. We have survived the winters by planting the seeds and nurturing the land and plants and harvesting the fruitfulness of our labor. This acknowledgement represents our harvest of many years, our citizenship, our religion, and pays tribute to us as a people. Little is known about us Lenape and the perils of our existence. We never speak about our hurt and pain, how we survived, and how we have stories from our elders and pass these stories into the youth from generation to the next. For many years, we survived as a remote community and remained a hidden people. We waited for you to acknowledge us, and we hear you. Our babies, brothers, and sisters have been torn away from our homeland for hundreds of years. They are still a part of our life and our soil today. We remained and are keeping this land and seed for all. We celebrate our native blood and the bones of our ancestors. We protect the animals and fish. We are still here and our babies are still being born. They tried to erase us from history, yet history preserved us through antiquity. They have recorded our tribal presence, not just in ancient communities, but our bones that are buried in this land. This land acknowledgement is the momentum of change. This acknowledgement honors our people, the indigenous, especially the Nanticoke Lenni-Lenape, nearly 500 years later. We are humbled by your call. We hear you and remain to invite you to our circle to celebrate this new foundation together. I acknowledge no name or title, but your ways have named me Thais Gould Jacinto, yet I am known as Walatai, bright flower. You say I am from Bridgeton, yet I was born in Cohanzic, a place where we crossed the river. You say I live in New Jersey, yet I dwell in Nanticoke, a place by the sea. You call me she or her, and yet I am Kilshi Munkingen, one with the Creator. You call me Indian, and yet I am only known as Lenape, or original people.